students, welcome to your math lesson of the day. And again, we are reviewing our place value. But in this quick brain warm-up activity, we are only going to be focusing on our tens and ones place. We're not going to be worrying about the hundreds place during this activity. But before we start, let's go ahead and count our fingers from 0 to 10 by ones. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's going to be helpful when we have to think about which number is greater than and less than to a number we're comparing it with. But before we start comparing numbers, I just want us to get our minds warmed up of quickly figuring out which number's in the ones place and which number's in the tens place. So if I was to say the number 76, which number is in the tens place? Is it the 7 or is it the 6? If we say the word 76, the number in the tens place is the 7, because if that 6 was in there, it would be 70. Now, which number is in the ones place in the number 84? Which number is in the ones place in 84? It's number 4, because if we put a 0 in front of the 4, 4 is less than 10. So 4 is in the ones place. Now, what about the ones place in the number 93? Shout it out, wherever you are, wherever you're doing. What number's in the ones place? It's going to be the 3. 3 is going to be in the ones place. Now, since we already warmed up our minds of figuring out which number's in the tens place and ones place, let's put that warm up into good use. So, if I have the number, if we were comparing two numbers, so for example, 64 and 25, and I'm going to put less or greater right here. So this is kind of like what we did in 7.1, and it kind of goes into 7.3. But I'm going to ask you, how would I make the model 64 on my whiteboard? Well, if we look at our tens place, that determines how many rods we have to make. So if we look at our tens place and we look at the number 64, we know 6 is in the tens place, so we'll have to draw 10 long rods. So we'll draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, because we looked at our tens place, and 6 is in our tens place. So we draw 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 rods. And if we look into our ones place in 64, what number's in the ones place? It's going to be 4, so we'll have to draw 4 blocks, 4 small blocks to represent our ones. So we'll draw 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64 to match with our number 64. But now we have to make that same model for the number 25, and if I say the number 25, what number's in the tens place? It's 2, so we'll have to draw how many rods? Shout it out. 2 rods. So we'll draw 1, 2 to make it 10, 20. Now what number's in the ones place? It's number 5, so we'll have to draw 5 ones. I'm going to use my green marker to represent the 1. So we have to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we have our two models down. But what I like to do when I'm comparing my numbers, I like to look at the number that's the highest value. So if we had 100s in this example, I will look at the hundreds place first before the tens place. But we don't have a hundreds place in these problems because they only have 2 digits. They only have 2 numbers. 64 has 2 numbers. And 25 has 2 numbers, but since we only have 2 numbers, I like to look at the highest place value, which in this case, the highest place value was the what? It's the tens place. So if we were to look at the number 64 and 25, who has the greater amount of rods? Is it 64 64 or 25? Well, 64 has 6 rods, and then 25 only has 2. And we know 6 is greater than 2, right? Would you want to have 6 pieces of candy or 2? 6 pieces of candy, I would hope. But 6 is greater than 25. And I noticed like a lot of you did on your math problems, you would switch the 25 to make the statement true. 25 is less than 64, which is technically correct, but in our Big Ideas math, it wants us to circle less than and greater than because we want to match 64 with the 64 model and 25 with the 25 model. And we know 64 is greater than 25, so we are going to circle 64 greater than 25. Okay, and we're going to do another practice problem just to warm up our minds. So I'm going to erase this. I'm going to give you guys new numbers to compare and contrast with. Okay, after I'm done erasing, we are going to look at the numbers 34 and 37. I'm going to put less or greater down here at the bottom to match with your Big Ideas math. So if we were to draw 34 on the board as a model, how many rods would we have to make? If we look at our number in the tens place, what number's there? There, it's a 3, so we'll have to draw 3. So we'll have to draw 1, 2, 3 to make it 10, 20, 30 to match with our tens place. And what number's in the ones place? It's 4, so we'll have to draw 4 blocks to represent our ones. 1, 2, 3, 4 to make it 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. Okay, now we have to hop on over to our next number, and we have what number? 37. Now if we look at our number in the tens place, is what? It's 3, so we'll have to draw 3 rods. 1, 2, is that 3? No, that's 2. 3. And if we look at our number in the ones place, how many's there? 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have to draw 7 blocks to represent our ones. So we'll have to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, see, this is a great example. Like, we look at the highest value in our tens place, we have a 3 and a 3. So, at our highest place value, which in this case is the tens, since we only have 2 digits, 34 and 37, and we have 2. So we have 3 equal in the tens place. So that means if the numbers are equal in one tens place, we have to move down to the ones place. So now we're comparing the 4 to the 7. Now, which number is closer to the 0? Is it the 4 or the 7? So if we were to count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is closer, so that means 34 is less than 37. So we have to circle our statements to make it true. So 34 is less than 37. And do you guys remember what mouse sign do we use? We want to eat the bigger number, so we want to draw this towards 37 because we want to eat the bigger number, which is 37, and we can put teeth marks if we want to because we want to eat the bigger number. Awesome, and that is all I'm going to show for you on 7.3, but if you have any questions about this section in your Big Ideas math book, please do not hesitate to reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to help. And I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.